Know, O friend, that although the truth of something seems to consist in or be restricted to its outward aspect, there is a great distance between them. For example, an average person's belief in God's unity involves attributing things only to the Almighty. This is a simple rejection of attributing anything to that which is not God. However, the belief of those who know the real meaning of divine unity involves attributing whatever they see and experience to the all-glorified One. They see His stamp and notice His seal on everything. Such acknowledgments gives peace of mind and heart and prevents heedlessness. Know, O friend, that the wisdom in God's giving respite to unbelievers lost in the worldly life is that they unconsciously manifest various blessings of God by their labor and skill and unknowingly arrange the beauty and excellence of the works of divine art to display to others. Just as a clock is not aware of telling time, unbelievers are not aware of their function. Know, O friend, that one receiving God's help can proceed from the outward to the truth without joining a spiritual order. I have seen in the Qur'an one way leading directly to truth without any such initiation, and another way leading to the attainment of desired religious sciences without studying instrumental sciences such as logic, mathematics, and methodology. The all-embracing divine mercy is expected to grant the children of the present time a time flowing too fast, a short yet safe way. Know, O friend, that a thing's existence and life are decisive proofs of its Creator's necessary existence and attributes, a radiant sign that the Creator is one to whom all things belong, and that He holds all material or natural causes in His hand. In the same way, decay, death, and replacing things with their likes show the permanence of the originator, returner, heir to all, and reviver. They also show that He has no partners in creation and that only He controls the inner selves of things. Know, O friend, that life says there is no deity but He, the One, and denies that causes have any part in it. Death says there is no deity but He, having no partners at all, and denies that the inner selves of things have any part in it. Know, O friend, that one duty of human life is that it should witness living beings praise to the bestower of life, the worship of all things, and announce it as if it represented all of them, and their tongue proclaiming their deeds to their master. Know, O friend, that the Qur'an and Prophet Muhammad inform us of awesome matters, establish tremendous truths, and lay down immense foundations. For example, they prove and establish the oneness of the One. We will roll up the heavens as written scrolls are rolled up. Earth altogether shall be His handful on doomsday, and the heavens shall be rolled up in His right hand. The matter of the hour is as twinkling of the eye, or nearer. The seven heavens and earth, and whoever is in them glorify Him. He has created the heavens and earth in 6 days. He revives earth after its death, and during that revival, He resurrects countless plant and animal species and inscribes them on the sheet of earth, all mingled with buds unique from one another. Humanity's resurrection on the day of judgment is not harder than this annual resurrection. Remember that far more flies are brought to life during one summer than the number of people who have lived and will live from the creation of Adam until the last day. The Qur'an and Prophet Muhammad also say, God is the creator of all things and He is guardian over all things. His is the keys of the heavens and earth. He creates you and what you do. He has prepared a painful torment. Whoever does an atom's weight of evil shall see it. The Qur'an and Prophet Muhammad do not view the universe in the same way as modern scientists, philosophers, and other people. Rather, they instruct in the arts or provide a skill with which to know the Maker, who holds all creatures in his hand and controls them as he wills. They show the inner and outer dimensions of existence, together with the parts and what they mean for their Creator. They instruct through a book with all its meanings and connotations. Modern scientists and philosophers describe creatures according to their literal meaning and according to what they perceive with their external senses, and not in the inner dimensions and meanings of creatures of which they are unaware. Like a mind occupied with involuntary evil thoughts or a Satan's whisperings, they occupy your mind with superficial issues and without understanding their meaning, instruct you in their outward forms and the parts thereof. They instruct you in a bejeweled book ornamented with explanations of its letters, forms, structures, and positions with respect to one another. You cannot judge the truths of the Qur'an and Prophet Muhammad by such standards, nor weigh them by their balances. Mountains fixed deeply in the ground are not weighed on the balances of jewels. The earthly profane principles of science and philosophy cannot appraise and confirm the Qur'an's and the Prophet's truths. Ignore critics of some small details of those truths, as they are misguided by modern science and philosophy. O long-suffering one, when a misfortune is sent to you, do not divide your patience by confronting both past and present misfortunes. Focus on the present one, for the painful past has joined with the remaining spiritual blessings and rewards they gained for you in the hereafter. Do not use up your patience confronting possible future misfortune, for what the future brings depends on divine will. Use your patience for today, even for this hour. Reinforce it by smiling at misfortune and loving it, so that it will join your patience and help you rely on your owner, the all-magnificent, all-compassionate, and all-wise. When you do that, your weakest patience will suffice for the greatest misfortune. Know, O friend, that some people dismiss various traditions as exaggerated. In fact, such traditions contain valuable truths. For example, the Prophet is recorded to have said, "If the world had as much weight in the view of God as a gnat's wing, an unbeliever could not drink a sip of water from it." This means that the world's external face manifesting in the mirror of your fleeting life has no more weight than the wing of a gnat from the eternal world. Just as a grain of corn attaining permanence by growing into a plant is preferable to the amount of straw needed to fill a vast threshing field, for it can only blow away. Everyone has his or her own particular world. If this particular world is considered to point to its true owner rather than to itself and to the tillage of the hereafter and the area where the divine beautiful names are manifested, it gains a great value. Otherwise, with respect to its fleeting aspect, its value is less than that of a single grain. Know, O friend, that one demonstration that life is based upon mutual assistance, not upon conflict, is that dense soil and hard rocks allow a plant's delicate roots to penetrate them. Rocks crack their hardened hearts when touched by a plant's silk-like fingers, and soil opens its hard breast for the plant's veins. The universe's parts cooperate with its sun and moon for the benefit of animals. Plants serve as food for animals. Elements of sustenance compete to be sustenance for fruits. Fruits are adorned to attract those needing provision. Particles of soil, air, and water cooperate to be food for the body's cells, and so on. All of this is a decisive proof that life's general principle is mutual assistance. Conflict is only a particular, exceptional principle, notably among some wild animals. Know, O friend, that the absolute, observable ease of things coming into existence is one of the clearest proofs of God's unity, for everything, especially living things, requires for its existence that which is necessary for the whole to exist. If there were more than one creator, the existence of one thing would be as difficult as the existence of the whole universe. Know, O carnal, evil commanding self, that you deserve condemnation even for your most noble demand. You deeply desire the things of the hereafter, but only to be relieved from the gloom of transcendence and find consolation for the pain of mortality. How can a king serve a mortal creature? You built an inn on columns of jewels you have taken from the royal castle, so that some animals may stay in it overnight. You cause the castle to collapse on you and eat the fruits of the everlasting paradise in the illusory paradise of the world. Know, O soul, enamored of itself and relying on its physical existence. You became content with a drop from an imaginary ocean of the water of life, with a weak radiance at night from the sun of a clear day. The relation between your physical existence with the manifestations of your Creator's existence is like that of one soul with all creatures multiplied by the particles forming those creatures. Your existence points to itself only in that respect, while pointing to its Creator's existence in endless respects, as does every creature. His existence, when compared with yours, is as manifest as the greatness of the universe. You love your selfhood because it is the source of your carnal pleasure, the center of your existence, the mine of your interests, and because it is nearer to you than anything else. However, you confuse a dim, fleeting shadow with the very origin of all existence. If you love your selfhood for a transcendent pleasure, then you must love Him who gives you infinite, eternal pleasure and creates everything that makes you happy. If your selfhood is the center of your existence, then your Lord is the one who has given you that existence and maintains it, together with all those to whom your existence is related. If your existence is the mine of your interests, then your provider is He in whose hand is all good. He is the everlasting, benevolent one, and with Him are all your benefits, as well as the benefits of those who are beneficial to you. If your selfhood is nearer to you than anything else, then your Creator is still nearer. His hand reaches what your selfhood cannot reach, and what is beyond the reach of its consciousness. So, unite all your love, now divided among creatures, and adding to it your love of your selfhood, direct it to the Almighty, the true beloved one. Know, O friend, that what veils you from God and keeps you in heedlessness is seeing things and parts separately and attributing them to chance and causes. However, one who looks at the whole and universal with a comprehensive view cannot attribute even the least thing to the greatest cause. For example, you ascribe food to some causes, but when you see earth's wilderness and utter destitution in winter followed by its being adorned and filled with varieties of food by the divine power, you will be convinced that the one who provides for you could be none other than the one who provides for all living things by reviving earth after its death. For example, you ascribe the illumination of your house and your intellectual and spiritual enlightenment to some apparent causes and say, "What has been given to me is because of certain knowledge that I have." However, when you see that your light comes from the light of daytime and that your enlightenment depends on the source of all lights, you will be convinced that only He who alternates day and night by moving the solar system, who creates guidance and misguidance, and who guides whomever he wills by sending down scriptures, can illuminate your body and enlighten your mind and heart. Know, O humanity, that some awesome issues compel every conscious being to pay attention to them. Among them are death, separation from all that you love, and the world you're journeying to eternity through awful circumstances, and your complete impotence and poverty both here and in the hereafter. How can you behave as if oblivious of and blind to such issues? You are like an ostrich that buries its head in the sand so as not to see the hunter. How much longer will you be absorbed in transient, perishable drops and pay no attention to fearful oceans? Know, O friend, that God makes it possible to solve the greatest ontological problems by one linguistic rule: the meaning related to the letter and the meaning related to the name. This universe is a book. The creatures in it are its words. These words should be weaved only on their inscriber's behalf, for their primary function is to serve as messages of the Lord manifesting His all beautiful names. Considering creatures on behalf of themselves causes ignorance, ingratitude, and erroneous philosophy, while considering them on behalf of their inscriber is the origin of knowledge, belief, and wisdom. Know, O friend, that God makes it possible to solve a tremendous matter pertaining to divine lordship via a rule of logic. The difference between a universal having particulars or individuals and a whole formed of parts. The manifestation of His grace and oneness, manifesting His names on a single thing, may be compared to universal having particulars or individuals. The manifestation of His majesty and unity, manifesting a name on a group or a whole, may be compared to the whole formed of parts. The manifestations of perfection and grandeur encompass both. That is, perfection in the view of majesty is like the universal in the view of the whole, and the particular in the view of the part. Know, O friend, that the world is the hereafter's contents, and has a bearing upon the most important matters connected with it. For example, consider the pleasure you take in eating and drinking. The one who, in this flitting about that gives no true pleasure, has given you senses and feelings, systems and organs, parts and instruments to test these material bodies and sense His name's manifestations on things pertaining to your physical existence. The wise one who has provided you with different senses has certainly prepared for His guests everlasting feasts in palaces underneath which rivers flow and where they will remain forever. O fearful, helpless sight! When you fear or love the created, fear becomes a pain and love an affliction. The one you fear has no mercy for you or does not listen to your requests. The one you love does not recognize you, despises you because of your love, avoids you, and abandons you despite your desire. Rather, fear and love your all-munificent and compassionate Creator so that your love may become an innocent, eternal happiness without pain or humiliation, and your fear an agreeable humbling by taking refuge in the bosom of mercy, just as an infant's fear of its mother compels it to throw itself into her warm arms where it finds pleasure. Know, O friend, that you are the tree of creation's fruit or seed. Although physically a weak, impotent, and small individual being, the all-wise Maker has favored you with a universal disposition. By giving you life, He has freed you from the confines of an insignificant individual existence and enabled you to travel throughout the visible world so that your very developed, inquiring senses may obtain their particular nourishments. By making you human, He has endowed you with the potential to flourish like a tree growing from a seed. He has bestowed on you belief in Islam and thereby enabled you to acquire a universal existence. By favoring you with knowledge and love of Him, He has made you like a comprehensive light. Now you must choose. If you attach yourself to the world and bodily desires, you will become a weak, humiliated individual. But if you use the instruments of your life, senses, and faculties on behalf of the greatest humanity, Islam, you will acquire a universal existence and become a central, illuminating lamp. Know, O one who loves worldly things as much as your restricted physical existence allows. Since you spend your love away from its proper place, God, you are distressed. But if you love the one of unity and other things on His behalf and with His leave, you will be saved from the distress and pain of separation from what you love. You will be like one who, faithfully serving a ruler with relations to everyone in his country, hears with his Lord's ears and sees with his Lord's eyes all that happens as if he or she were there. By using the ruler's communicative systems, he or she hears all pleasant music and sees all beautiful scenes in the country. Know, O one who shows great curiosity about the moon and other planets. If you were told that someone has come from the moon to tell you about it, or to tell your future, you would give almost anything to hear his or her words. However, a man tells you about him in the realm of whose rule the moon is less than a moth flying around a light. It flies around the light among innumerable candles hanging from the ceiling of the house he has prepared for his guests. That man also tells you about eternity and eternal life and fundamental truths and awesome matters, the least of which is more important than Earth's and Moon's destruction. Listen to the chapters of the book he has brought, which begin with, when the sun is folded up, when the heaven is rent asunder, and others like them. He shows you a straight, leveled path leading to unity, and saves you from confusion in the twisted, crooked ways of misguidance. He extends the firm handle, a chain of ascension that keeps those who hold onto it from drowning in the darkness of things, bewildering multiplicity. He offers you the water of life, eternal life, from the pure source of belief, so that you may be saved from the fire of separation from that you love. He informs you of what pleases your Creator, to whose command the sun, moon, and stars are subjected, and by whose permission earth was settled and stabilized, and what He commands you to do. He explains to you an infinitely weak and poor creation, the communication and conversation of the King of eternity, to whose power there is no limit. Such being the truth, why not renounce yourself to pursue the Qur'an's guidance? Listen to the messenger of the All-Merciful One and welcome him with belief and submission. Love sincerely the one who has come with peace and salvation. Learn from him what our all-affectionate Master, the all-bounteous honor, asks of us. Know, O friend, that we see the all-wise Maker's perfect wisdom and witness that His acts are free from waste and futility. He weaves extensive, enduring, and precious textiles from lowly and very small things. His acts are purposeful. For example, He charges each bodily organ or part, especially those in the head, with very important duties. If a tiny organ were required to perform each duty entrusted to your head's organs, your head would be as big as Mount Sinai. Look at the tomb. As one of its many important tasks, it inspects the bounties stored in the all-merciful one's treasury, as well as all food and beverage prepared in his power's kitchen. Its tasks are as many as the tasks of all foods. Thus, this purposeful activity not show that the Maker weaves from the things moving in the flux of time, textiles for the unseen and the hereafter by moving the shuttle of day in order to produce day and night and change the seasons? He does the same weaving in humanity, the index of the universe. He records and permanently preserves the minutes of each person's life in the textiles or on the sheets of memory, and uses death to transport living beings from this visible, narrow world to the unseen worlds of purity and permanence. We hear from the sources of revelation that these minutes return to each individual either darkened with heedlessness and seen or illuminated with lamps of good deeds hanging from their links. Know, O friend, that the all-beautiful, all-wise Maker makes members of animal species, especially winged ones and fish, in different sizes, just as he does for angels and all other creatures. He makes the small a specimen of the large, so that people will be guided to truth, reflect on his creation with ease, and read and understand his power's mischiefs. He also does this to display that power's perfection and exhibit his two kinds of art, one originating in his grace and the other in his majesty. Small things that are discerned only with difficulty usually remain unknown and can be known only when written in capital letters. Large things that are too huge to be seen and comprehended also remain unknown until they are written in relatively small letters. Despite this, the carnal evil commanding soul, taught by a Satan, thinks that smallness results from weakness or defect in artistry, and so attributes them to deaf and blind causes. It likewise claims that huge things show a lack of wisdom and purpose, and are thus attributable to chance. Know, O friend, that the almost infinite multiplicity of things and absolute abundance of provisions do not mean futility and contradict wisdom. If a thing, especially a living being, had only one purpose, this change might be true. But each existent thing has innumerable purposes, tasks, and fruits. Your tongue has as many tasks as the number of hairs on your head. There are endless purposes for that abundance, and with respect to each thing's assigned tasks, there is no contradiction with wisdom. Although an army is mainly charged with guarding or defending borders, we have many troops, since an army also represents the government's authority, guards against internal conflict, and performs other services. Know, O friend, that a human artist can be seen with his or her works of art, but there are 70,000 veils between God and his works. If only you could view all creatures of God together at the same instant, the veils of darkness might be lifted, leaving only the veils of light, which is very difficult. However, the most direct and shortest way to reach that level of vision is within you. It can be found in the outer world only by intense love. Know, O friend, that each member of most of the reproducing plant and animal species seeks to spread over earth as much as possible so that it can use earth as a place of worship by manifesting its creator's names. Each worships its creator, who alone deserves worship, in its own way. Look at a melon and its seeds, fruit-bearing trees and their seeds, and fish and birds and their eggs. Since the world is too small for all of them to realize their intention fully, the all-encompassing knowledge of the knower of the seen And the unseen, who knows everything that happens regardless of when it happens, is expected to accept their intended worship.